Hello, this episode will cover my hike on the Art Loeb Trail from July 6th to July 8th, 2019 with my son Nicholas. I hope you enjoy it as we go from Daniel Boone to Davidson River. So here I am, just starting the Art Loeb Trail, just got dropped off by my shuttle driver and starting to climb. We're at Daniel Boone Camp, so we'll see how it goes. Beautiful day so far. It's about 68, 70 degrees in the Pisgah National Forest up by Shining Rock. Hiking on the Art Loeb, about 1.9 miles in, 2 miles in, crossing over a stream. You can hear the rain coming, and it's been raining actually quite steadily. I ended up putting on my rain gear. You can hear it obviously hitting the forest and all the leaves on top of us. So taking two falls. The last one crossing over the stream on the wet rocks, banged my knee. Not too bad, don't leak. First one I was pretty early in. I'm gonna take this off, it's getting hot. But otherwise not too bad. At least it's keeping the temperatures cool. It's probably in the 60s. Yeah, sorry. Don't like leaving insect or leaf or whatever that was. Like I said, it's been pretty cool. It's overcast, which is good. So it's keeping the temperatures down and the sun away. But definitely not fun hiking in hot, sticky weather. The rain cools it down, but it makes everything humid. And it's a lot of rocks over here, so it is slippery. And it's been raining pretty much off and on the last couple of days before we arrived. So we were worried there were some thunderstorms. Worried about thunderstorms, especially when we get to the top of the mountains. That's not a place to be during lightning. So, but other than that, it's moving along fairly well. Like I say, it's been probably about 2 miles an hour. The rain has probably slowed us down. And getting my legs back, so to say. So, trying the trekking poles. I'm using one of them with a stick pick so I can video myself instead of holding it. Things seem to work better, but I really like having my hands free. I'm not sure how this is working. As a matter of fact, one of my falls was the pole collapsed when I put weight on it, and that's why I fell. So without the trekking pole, I wouldn't have fallen. So I'm still not sure whether I'm going to keep using them. I'm going to try them. I will be using them for my tent. They are the poles for my Z-Packs duplex tent, so I took them to use on that. I did buy the freestanding poles, which I probably might use in the future. I just never used trekking poles before. This is my first real hike with them, trying them out. I've done like a mile or two with them. I just feel awkward, but I think it's just trying out a new skill. Pack feels very good. Z-Pack, I gotta say, it does feel light. Don't feel like it's really heavy on me or binding in any way. It does feel light, and the feet strap, as you can see, is working so far to hold that bear canister. We had to upgrade. I went to the 500, the BV 500, which is the large one. It's 700 cubic feet, I believe. It weighs 2.2 pounds 9 ounces, so it is a little heavier. But had to, unfortunately, needed that for the space, and the strap would not hold the smaller one. We decided to bypass Cold Mountain, and we're somewhere here around the Narrows right now. Beautiful valley. I'll drop this. It could possibly go wrong, as I say. But here you can see a beautiful valley below us. Beautiful mountain range, the Pisgah National Forest. Okay, so here we are. We're leaving the top of whatever mountain that was. I'm going to look that up when I get back down, see what that was. But we're in the Narrows. So we just passed Deep Gap. We decided to bypass Cold Mountain. Originally we had planned on doing that. That's going to save us about 3.2 miles roughly of hiking. Just wasn't feeling it today. I guess just a mutual decision. Originally, I'm hiking with my son, and he was the one that wanted to do it, so we decided to plan it. But you know, you got to be flexible a little bit. And it's pretty moderate temperatures actually. It's probably in the 70s, 60s to 70s. It rained earlier. I'm sure you'll see some of that video, but it was raining quite heavily at times. So the temperature is kind of kept low and kept down, but everything is wet and damp. It's first starting to dry out now as the heat builds with the day, but from the outlook that we were just at, and the outcropping, and looking over to the south, I believe this is the south direction, there's some rain. You can see some rain coming over the other mountain range, so toward the valley that was separating us. So I'm hoping that that will bypass us and we won't get wet again today. They said about a 50% chance, depending on what site you went to. It was 20 to 50%, anywhere from, you know, a quarter inch to like half an inch of rain. So, you know, it's part of the experience when you hike. You got to plan for weather. It's obviously pleasant not to have it rain, but it does give you water if you need it. There's more water on the trail. It does keep it cool. However, it does make the trail a little more hazardous. There was a lot of the rocks back there were all very slippery. It did fall twice. I almost fell one or two more times, but so the rocks were really not that good, especially when they got wet. They were slick. So, but we'll keep going on. So, see you further. I'll give you more trail report. Bye. Wandering Drew once again, back on the Art Loeb Trail. We're coming up on mile marker around 7 miles, I believe. I just found a place to water up, so I drank about 1.5 liters or so, and I filled up both my bottles, so I should have 2 liters now. It's been a dry stretch for a little while. It was supposed to be a spring, couldn't find it. There's been thunder in the distance all day long. We only got wet that once, and the temperatures have been pretty surprisingly mild for this time of year, being July. So probably in the 60s. We're right around the 5,000 foot mark, so obviously it's cooler up here, but it's been pretty nice. So probably in the 70s. Our goal is to try and do around 10 miles today. We're going to try and keep with that goal. It's something like 4:40 now. So we've been hiking. It's been really slow going. I've been a little surprised and disappointed on how slow we're going, but it's been very rocky and it's been forcing us to go a little slow. So I'm hoping that it picks up as we continue going forth. As you can see, we're really walking through tight trail here. It's not wide open at all. It's just a sea of green, a tunnel of green, as they say. And it's been relatively mild right now, so we're making hopefully a little better time. So I'm hoping to do at least another 3 to 4 miles today, and then we'll hopefully find a place to pitch camp. Looks like I'm coming to a little opening. I can see some sky coming up, and other than that, not much going on. Have run into some more people. Oh yeah, very nice. We've run into people, probably about 8 or 9 people hiking as well. 2 or 3 other thru hikers. So thinking this might be Tennant Mountain. So here we are. We came to like a exposed area. You can see the mountains in the distance. That's where we've come from. I'm not sure what they all are. I'm going to try and take a picture of them and see if I can figure out they are using an app I have. So, but great view. You can see the weather in the distance. Luckily, we haven't heard any thunder recently, and I'm hoping it stays that way. There's a gentleman camping up here. I'm not going to film his campsite, but he's got a great view of the valley and the mountain range. So, okay, we're going to keep on going. Hope the rain stays away. We're hoping to do another 3 hours. These pictures continue from the video that just ended and show the first bald you come to when going north to south, and it's basically the entrance of the Shining Rock Wilderness, which has several balds on it, which is clearly the better views on the whole trail, and also includes Shining Rock itself. The views were very, very nice, and luckily the thunderstorms had moved out and we had clear weather for a view. So you can see the worst of the weather is blown through, and I'm not sure what that is. I'm gonna have to get my other phone out and figure out what mountains I'm at in the distance there. But you can see we're above some of the low clouds here. So, but it turns out to be a really nice day so far. It's cleared up after the rain in the morning and threatening thunderstorms, but luckily we missed the worst of them. Here I am once again. This time I'm on the top of Tennant Mountain, really the top. I thought I had reached the top before, but I was wrong. And you can see the view here. It's beautiful all around. I'm going to take some other pictures of the mountains around here, but you can really see all over. Best view we've had so far. I don't know how far I could see, but it's probably easily 20-25 miles. It's clear. Thunderstorms have moved away. Weather's been good since thunderstorms this morning and rain. That was probably around 10:30, 11:30. Heard thunder threatening, but never had any. So I'm at 6,040 feet on the top of Tennant Mountain, and there's a plaque here that says so. That's how I know that. On the top of the Art Loeb Trail. So, but here you can see. So, named after Dr. Tennant, and it's 6,040 feet. So, more coming for you later. But right now, just glad to not be climbing any higher. Down is in the future, and getting a wonderful view of the mountains around here. So, really beautiful. It's been a lot of people on the trail, probably easily 15-20 people hiking so far. We've done, it's almost 10 miles. I think it's mile 9.8. So hoping to do another hour or two, maybe a mile and a half, maybe 2, and then we'll probably stop for the night. The rocks in the mountains, they're slippery when it was raining, and some of them are lower altitudes. There's a lot of moss on them. Really slow going, much slower than I would have hoped for or expected in the past. So just have to take the good with the bad. So hopefully as we get to some lower altitudes and get off some of the mountains here, we will be able to pick up the pace a little bit. And we're shooting for 3 days, 10 to basically 12 miles each day. So I'll report in later tonight when we make camp. We come off Tennant Mountain, and we're going to try to make it another mile and a half. And it's supposed to be a parking lot up ahead where we can dump our garbage. And from that site, we'll decide what to do, whether we're going to camp around there, keep walking. We'll see what time it is. It's a little after 7, leaving from the Black Balsam Trail parking lot. Had some trouble finding the trail. It was white circles stapled onto or nailed onto trees. Took me a little while to realize that they look like reflectors, and realize that was the trail. It rained several times last night. Nothing too bad. It was actually pretty chilly last night, probably in the 60s. And tent and everything was wet this morning. So it was interesting, to say the least. I'm really glad with the tent. It was I didn't leave any of the flaps open, as Z-Pack suggests, but did have a lot of air flowing through because I had them high up. All the doors were high up, and I had a nice cool breeze coming through all night. As usual, I do the rotisserie, as I call it. I feel like a rotisserie. I get hot on the bottom and I have to rotate, so I keep rolling all night long. So I didn't sleep very good for an hour or two. There were some people having a fire, and they weren't very noisy, but they were definitely making some noise. Some nice shot of the sun coming up. Hopefully you can see that. And so we got started on schedule. We got up around 6:30. Hit the trail at 7 exactly. And so once the rain came about 11:30, I guess the fire and the festivities were done. It got quiet, so I was able to get some sleep. Woke up a couple of times with the rain, around 1 or 2. Other than that, no problems. Didn't hear any animals outside. Our bear canister, I guess, worked. No bears came and took it. Not that I was really worried, but I was really happy with the Z-Pack tent. Did a good job. I had no condensation, and it was very humid. It was wet today, so I packed it away. It's a little damp, but hopefully tonight I can dry it out. So it's day 2 on the Art Loeb Trail. We're hoping to do at least 11 or 12 miles today, maybe even a little further. We'll see. We're going to aim for a shelter. I think it's Butter Gap, right? I forgot the name of it right now. I'm trying to watch my footing at the same time as looking at the camera. So we're going to try to aim for that and see how we do. And we'll see what time we get there, and then we'll play that by ear, whether we want to go a little further or stop at that point. And that'll leave us with day 3 about 8 or so miles, maybe 9 miles, which the terrain should be getting a little better. Unfortunately, there's a couple of sharp downs, but more or less we're on the ridgeline, so shouldn't have too much elevation change for the first couple of miles here. So we're hoping to be able to make some good time. I gotta say, I am tired of walking on like broken rocks. Really hard on your feet. Again, the Art Loeb Trail. We just crossed the Blue Ridge Parkway, which you can see behind me, along with Nicholas, my son, who's my hiking partner on this trip. Gotta say, the last mile or so, or at least half mile, was really strenuous. A lot of rock, a lot of down, a lot of scrambles on wet rock. So I'm really hoping we can make better time. Unfortunately, it didn't look like we were doing very well in time, but we did about 1.5 miles in an hour, so we'll take that. And here I am, after a tough climb, a lot of switchbacks. I'm gonna check. I believe this is Pilot Mountain, but I'm not entirely sure. So, but beautiful view. You can see some of the taller mountains to the right, where we came from. It should be where we came from. I'm gonna try and verify that. But pretty clear. There's some fog and mist should be burning off now. It's a little after 10, right?
11:10.
Or 11, something. So, we've been hiking for about 4 hours, and we've gone several miles. I don't know exactly, I have to look at the map. It's 11:10 right now, so pretty good. We're hoping to do another 4 or 5, make it to the next shelter, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do from there. Probably do several more miles after that, and that'll put us in a good pace for the final day, where we'll have less than 8 or 9 miles to go to finish up the Art Loeb Trail. Hello, greetings from the Art Loeb Trail. It's been the end of day 2 for me and Nicholas, and we decided to stop. We went farther than planned. We decided to stop at, I'm looking at the map just so I get it right, It's at basically a junction with a Cat Gap Loop Trail at 23.8 miles. This was not our intended stopping point. We were actually looking for a campsite called Sandy Gap, which is at 22.9. So we basically walked right past it. We never saw it. We started at 11.4 miles and we went to 23.8. So we did some good mileage today. Tomorrow we have about less than 6.5. So we're hoping to finish early by basically noon or so, and that'll be fine for us. We were hiking today and we were just both done. We came, when we realized we passed the campsite, we both looked at each other and we're like, okay, this is where we're going to camp. Neither one of us really wanted to go on anymore. So the problem is we're in a section now where there's no water for the next like about 4 or 5 miles. So we had planned on stopping at a campsite that had water, the last campsite with water, before this stretch. So we really didn't conserve water as well as we should have. But we're good. We probably have about 1.5 liters maybe. It's been a really strenuous trail. I definitely have underestimated this trail, and I did not take it and give it its credit and respect that I believe it deserves for how hard it is. It's really, really physical, and I wasn't really prepared for that. So on the final day, we got up and we started walking. We were low on water. We were going to go to about a 3 or 4 mile trip to get water, and we never found it. We kept on walking, not realizing that we pretty much walked the remainder of the path that we had left, which was about 5 or 6 miles, in the 2.5 hours. We started before 7, and we got to the parking lot and our car at about 10:18. So this is the final path leading to the bridge that goes over the Davidson River and back to the campground. And this is the picture of us on the bridge right before we come back on the other side of the bank. And this is us on top of a mountain on the first day. And then this is at the Camp Daniel Boone, the start of the trail, which was 2.5 days before. And each one of us at the appropriate marker with the end of the Art Loeb Trail. Good trail, glad we did it, glad it's done. Had a great time, and I got to spend time with my son, so it worked out great. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. Hope you enjoyed my coverage from the Art Loeb Trail. It was a good trail. It is a little strenuous. The northern parts have their, obviously, altitudes. The southern part have a lot of downs, but I would recommend this trail to anyone, and perhaps even for a good day trip with the north end, which has the better views. I would also consider a trip from Daniel Boone, maybe to Cold Mountain, and back to Daniel Boone. Thank you once again. Please subscribe, leave a comment below, positive or negative. And once again, thank you. Till we meet again.